Hello, everyone. Welcome to this presentation. I'm MD Jahidul, an assistant professor at the EC Department of University of Florida. Today, I will talk about some of our research endeavors on the topic of ensuring robust visual perception for underwater robots. A little background on myself. I joined this department back in spring, January 2022. I am directing the newly formed RoboPI group, stands for Robot Perception and Intelligence, which focuses on robot perception and machine vision, particularly for underwater robotics applications. Prior to joining UF, I worked as a research scientist at Bosch, California. And before that, in 2021, I completed my PhD on robotics from University of Minnesota. Throughout my career, I have worked on research that span over the topics of companion robots, underwater visual perception, image analysis, and single-board machine vision. Today's talk is going to be a blend of these topics, focusing on visually guided underwater robots that work alongside human divers and cooperatively perform a set of common tasks such as inspection, monitoring, and surveillance. So, why visually guided robots and why human-robot cooperation? Well, the alternative setup is to use acoustic sensing with high-end sonars or USB-L sensors, often with possible communication link with a surface vessel, or have fully autonomous complex mission planning, all of which are expensive and often overkill for simple applications such as monitoring coral reefs or tracking invasive species of fish. Hence, acoustic sensing with all of this operational overhead is suitable for deep water applications. Additionally, as opposed to sonars, cameras are low-power passive sensors that do not emit energy to the ecosystem. So it is often preferred for coastal water and shallow water applications. So if we are going to use visually guided robots, what are the capabilities do we need? The first one is obvious. We need an intelligent companion, so it should be able to detect and follow and interact with its companion diver throughout the mission. And then, obviously, it needs to be able to perform certain tasks autonomously. It needs to be able to visually interpret its surrounding and handle adverse visual conditions, such as low visibility and color distortions underwater. And do all of this in real time on embedded platforms, since there is no Wi-Fi or cloud computing available. We have worked on developing robust and efficient algorithms to enable all of these features. I will not go into the details of these methodologies today, but I will briefly introduce this and demonstrate how we have used them in practice. First, let's talk about the basic features of an underwater companion robot. Well, it should be able to visually detect, track, and follow the diver, maintain implicit coordination, and also understand and execute explicit human instructions. The challenges here are to ensure real-time operation on single-board devices while dealing with the lack of salient landmarks in underwater scene, and also to design a simple yet expressive visual language so that it does not induce a lot of cognitive load on the diver. For autonomous diver following, we designed two novel trackers. The first one is called Mixed Domain Periodic Motion Tracker, or in short, MDPM tracker. It represents human swimming motion by spatial and frequency domain features and formulates a hidden Markov model for efficient tracking. It is designed for fast computation on CPUs and low-end platforms. The second one is convolutional neural net-based model, ideal for use when more computational resources are available, such as Jetson TX2s, even a Jetson Nano. In addition to the standard bounding box detector, we also have a pixel level detector and a human pose estimator as well. All of these modules are rigorously tested and validated by field experiments and currently running on our robots on board. We actually explored a bit further with autonomous person following robots. We experimented with autonomous person following in all three domains: ground robots, aerial robots, and underwater robots. We studied, implemented, experimented with all of the aspects of perception, planning, and control, and implicit and explicit interactions, and compiled our investigations into a comprehensive survey of companion robots. For underwater applications in particular, we explored the implicit diver-robot interaction a bit more. In particular, we explored the feasibility of using human body poses as features to regulate motion conduct and spatial conduct of companion robots. As shown in this example, in adverse visual conditions, we often don't get many reliable feature correspondences using traditional point-based features. This is due to the lack of salient natural landmarks in underwater scenes. However, companion divers are frequent in the scene during cooperative missions, so we propose to use human body poses such as open pose key points as features, with additional refinements across multiple views. Specifically, we explored the robot-to-robot relative pose estimation problem for pairs of communicative robots operating underwater alongside humans. In traditional estimation methods, with the assumption that a leader robot has a 3D sensor or stereo camera and synchronized communication with follower robots, we solve the leader to follower relative pose estimation problem by associating mutually visible point-based features in the image space. And then we apply the PNP problem to find the relative poses of the robots. Now, to reliably use human body poses as key points, we designed a fast person identification model to associate human body poses across viewpoints, and then we use an iterative key point refinement algorithm to ensure that the geometric validity of those correspondences are correct. Both of these modules only use local anatomical similarities in image space, which ensures fast end-to-end runtime of about 5 to 7 frames per second on single-board platforms such as Jetson TX2. Now, for explicit diver-robot communication, we designed a hand gesture-based language named RoboChat-Jest. With RoboChat-Jest, divers can program a robot using a sequence of simple and intuitive hand gestures. It is a full-form grammar. It allows two kinds of instructions. One is task switching, that is stopping a current program and starting another task. And the other one is parameter reconfiguration, that is adjusting the parameters of the current program. There's a lot of work behind the curtain to make its hand gesture recognizer and instruction compiler, everything run end-to-end more than 10 frames per second on a single board platform, but I'll not get into the details of this in this talk. Instead, I'm going to focus on how to deal with the underlying challenges of robust perception to enable such features. There are two performance variabilities for underwater robots. First, visual perception itself is challenging underwater due to its optical image distortions, noise, and visibility issues. Then there are operational challenges depending on the water body and application-specific requirements. Plus, there are no GPS, Wi-Fi, or cloud computing available, so everything needs to run real-time on board. We address these practicalities by exploring two research questions. The first one is how to enhance visuals to see better. And the second one is how to model visual attention to do better. By seeing better, we mean that the robot will have the capability to denoise and enhance images for improved perception in real time, so that we can have a filtered autonomy pipeline. The computational challenge is the main obstacle here, because most of the enhancement and denoising filters are based on deep learning. They hardly run on real-time on embedded systems. We address these issues by proposing Funnigan, a generative adversarial model for fast underwater image enhancement. It is optimized to its core to run fast so that it can be used to enhance real-time visuals of underwater robots, as shown in this video. It is the current state of the art and the fastest visual filter model that is out there. We also designed an efficient model for image super resolution, which robots can use for zooming in regions of interest, as shown in this figure. Researchers and roboticists frequently used ROVs for inspection and monitoring. Often it's difficult to get close to a fish or distant structure, so having the zooming capability is useful in such cases as well. Our proposed network is based on a novel deep residual multiplier, in short SRTRM. It can be used for 2x, 4x, and up to 8x super resolution. The SRTRM models are also reasonably fast, particularly for 2x and 4x super resolution. It gives us over 7 frames per second runtime on Jetson TX2. The major issue of this, however, is that super resolution techniques amplify the noise and distortions within low resolution measurements. As shown in this example, ideally what we need to do is to enhance the image first and then apply super resolution. But in that case, we will need to run separate deep models for enhancement and super resolution, which is computationally too expensive for single board devices. This motivated us to introduce the idea of perceptually enhanced image generation at higher spatial scales. We call it SESR, or simultaneous enhancement and super resolution. As shown in this example, the idea is to enhance both image quality in terms of color, contrast, and sharpness, and also the spatial resolution. Specifically, we propose a generative model named Deep SESR that can learn to restore perceptual image qualities both on the same resolution and up to 4x higher resolution. And it also learns saliency prediction on image spaces, that is, where the interesting pixels are in an image. Again, I'm not going into the details, but I'll show some visual results of how DeepACSR can be used for improved visual perception. As shown in this example, given any blurry or color distorted scene, either the whole image or an image patch, DeepACSR can find out the salient pixels, as well as its enhanced version and enlarged version up to 4x higher super resolution. DeepACSR outperforms existing image enhancement and super resolution models separately and combined for up to 4x higher resolution and at a significantly faster inference rate. It does a particularly better job for super resolution. Here we show one distorted image and one high definition image, and it does not add noise to images that are already not distorted, which is a common limitation of existing models. We also validated its generalization performance and demonstrated that ACSL learning can be useful for terrestrial imagery as well. Here's a demo of deep ACSR being applied in practice. Let me run this video. So as you can see, even in low light conditions, the enhanced images are restored in terms of color, sharpness, and contrast, and also in 2x resolution. And it runs close to 10 frames per second with a memory requirement of less than 10 megabyte, which is ideal for single board platforms. Now let's talk about our final topic today, which is on how to meet the onboard computational constraints. Also, we want things to run only when needed and only on the right data. However, checking for computational redundancy is challenging and it's redundant itself. So we tried many ways to compensate for that. I'll discuss one of these, which is SVAM, or saliency-guided visual attention modeling. The idea of SVAM is to identify interesting and salient objects in a scene so that robots can better model its visual attention and make fast operational decisions such as where to look, which samples to collect, where to go next, and how to find an anomaly, and so on. Our proposed model, named SVAMNet, not only provides state-of-the-art performance for salient object detection, but also offers platform-specific design choices, with the full model for GPU use, for fine-grained estimation, and a light model for robot deployments gives abstract prediction at a faster rate. Again, rather than going into the model architectures, I'll show some results and demonstrations. Here, the white pixels are from the output of the full model, and the green pixels are the output of the light model. And as you can see, it finds interesting and salient objects in a scene, and in no particular class or such. It depends on the image statistics, which particular objects are salient and which particular objects belong to the background. Now, let's see how we can use this effectively. Let's suppose we have a high-resolution image from a robot's camera, and we want to perform enhancement. The state-of-the-art models have low input receptions. For instance, the fastest model, Funnigan, would enhance it at only 20 millisecond time, but it works on 256 by 256 resolution. So to enhance the entire image, we need 12 times that. It's about 240 to 50 milliseconds, which is slow and unnecessary. So what we do instead is we run SVAMNet Lite, which runs on 46 milliseconds, see where the salient pixels are, and only enhance where we need to. This gives us at least 2 times and up to 10 times faster processing, depending on how big the salient objects are in an image. Similarly, for image super resolution, we can use SVAMNet to find where to perform super resolution and how much, whether it's 2x or 4x super resolution. Here are some demos of SVAMNet Lite model in action on footages of human-robot cooperative experiments. It also works reasonably well on random images, as shown in this random Gangnam style video. So SVAMNet performs class-agnostic salience estimation. It computes feature contrast and segments interesting objects in a scene, whichever the object is. So it is ideal for general-purpose visual attention modeling. We briefly explored the class-aware salience estimation as well through the idea of semantic image segmentation. We did a case study with only 8 important object categories: humans, robots, fish, reefs, wrecks, and ruins. We annotated a large dataset named SWIM, and we performed benchmark analysis on that dataset. We wanted to see if full-from underwater image segmentation is feasible for underwater applications. We also proposed a lightweight model named SVAMNet, which performs reasonably well at a fast rate. It performs particularly well for segmenting specific objects of interest, such as humans, robots, and fish. We are now extending these ideas in our current work for subsea structure mapping and inspection. So the idea is to have a set of mobile robots that can go to a specific location and map a given structure, whether it's a ship hull or a pipeline or a coral reef and so on. We are also looking into the design and development of a long-term monitoring network for coastal water ecosystem, with a particular focus on tracking invasive fish and forecasting seasonal water quality. Another project we are looking at is to enable smart features in aquaculture pods, both for vegetation and fish or crustacean farms. And lastly, the enhanced machine vision projects that I talked about have direct applications on IR and thermal imaging, such as firefighters' wearable and low-light security cameras. So we are looking into these applications as well. So to summarize, we contribute novel scientific and engineering solutions in robotics, AI, and IoT to solve real-world sensing and estimation problems for field robotics applications. These are our strength areas, and these are the areas where we need domain expertise for collaborations. So if any of these research directions aligns with your research and interest, please feel free to reach out. And with that, thank you everyone for listening.